What's up everybody, Trinity here, and welcome back to the Second Street Marvel for another comic book review. And today we're going to be talking about the 4 new issues spinning out of the Dawn of X series, and those issues are going to be Excalibur issue number 5, followed right up we're going to get into New Mutants number 5, and then right after that we're going to talk about X-Force number 5, and then the last one will be Fallen Angels issue number 5. Now, these are all, part of the Dawn of X series. There's a lot of them that released this week, and, we're going to go ahead and get right into these. Marvel just has not been slowing down with any of these titles. We're going to go ahead and get started right off with Excalibur issue number 5. Now, this book is being written by Tini Howard. Marcus Toe is the artist. Eric Arciniega is the color artist. VC's Corey Petit is the letterer. Tom Muller is on design. Mohamed Asrar and Matthew Wilson are the cover artists, and there are some various cover artists as well. I'm going to show you this lovely 2-page spread for the title page there. Absolutely lovely. You guys know how much I enjoy those. So in this book right here, guys, I've got to say, the Excalibur series here, I like the story going on here. I just don't necessarily like the writing going on here with this story. And this book just seems to be no different. It just kind of, I don't know. There's just something about it I don't like. Something about the characters and the way they're interacting with each other and things like that. But yeah, anyway. And the art in this book, I don't know. Maybe it's just not completely for me neither. Now the mutants that we got in here are Gambit, Rogue, Rictor, Jubilee, Captain Britain, and Pete Wisdom and Apocalypse. And I'll go ahead and show you that right there. Another one of those lovely white pages. You guys know how much I love those, right? So what we find is we're basically they're in the underworld as in the last issue. That's kind of where we left off at, as Gambit and Rictor were going down there to get these crystals that Apocalypse had needed to get to basically just become to take them back to him so he could be messing with those Krakoan gateways, and they could hopefully save Rogue. And that's kind of where this book starts off at, where Gambit was falling down through this ravine, and he ends up getting saved by Rictor, who makes some funny comments here about how he was being praised by men with beards. All right, I don't know. And then we flash to London, where there is this attack from these beasts coming from Otherworld, because in case you don't remember in the last issue when oh man, why all of a sudden did I forget Jubilee's baby's name? He turned into that big dragon, and apparently the dragons when they go to war there in Otherworld, and him breathing fire and everything like that, it kind of rips holes in reality between Otherworld and the regular world. So just some interesting things going on here. And then we flash to this scene with Rogue, where she is there. All of a sudden she's conscious, where it seems like she's having a dream, and she starts following this little dog that's like made of fire. And she goes to this place where there are these monuments built, and just some really odd things going on here. And she's kind of having this dream and this kind of vision of things that are happening, and she kind of realizes, has this vision of exactly what's going on here. And then, of course, back on Earth, they are battling against all these different beasts and things like that that have started attacking the Earth there in London. And some of what I don't like in here is some of this language here that we see with Rogue, as she is there in this, this, I don't know what you would call it, this plane of existence that she is living in right now. I guess in her head, she's just some of the writing that Tini Howard is doing in here, like, I don't know, just some of the dialogue and things in here I just don't necessarily like. And like I said, that's kind of the problem that I have with this particular series, is the fact that I like the story, I like what's going on in here. I just don't necessarily like the characters, the language and things that's going on here. It's very, I don't even really know how to say it. It's just not good. And then we get this really cool little, like, kind of another white page, but I don't really know the point of this. Is kind of explaining this from the grimoire of Apocalypse, and it's talking about the Ex Magica Almanac and just kind of how things work there, like the stars aligning, like the sun and the moon aligning right here, and then it's got the next page. We get another one of these great white pages, that I love so much. You guys know how much I love these things. Explaining a little bit more of the astrology with that. And then what happens is we're there on there on Earth. We see that Gambit ends up confronting Apocalypse about exactly what he's been doing, because he started messing with the Krakoan Gateway with these crystals and everything, and him and Gambit kind of get into it, as Gambit actually had reached out to some telepaths to try to find out what exactly Apocalypse was up to, and he kind of confronts him there while they're in the middle of battle, and Apocalypse beats his ass. He beats him down pretty good, and he starts starts experimenting back with the gateway, and then here towards the end of the book, we get a nice little surprise as somebody comes in and puts a stop to what Apocalypse is doing, and I don't want to give all of that away. Now, altogether, I gotta say this book, like I said, I like the story going on here. I just don't necessarily like the characters, how they're written, the dialogue, and just some of the things that's going on here. Like I showed you earlier, some of the art in here is absolutely great. Some of it seems fitting for what's going on here, and I like it. I just wish the writing was better in this book. Maybe get a different writer for this one, but I honestly have a sneaking suspicion that this book is probably going to be ending soon enough. I'm not sure if it's going to end at issue 6, or if there's if it's going to be 10 issues, and then maybe it's going to combine with some of these other books, and then maybe turn into something else. I honestly don't know, but I can't wait till we get there. I can't wait till we get there, because again, like I said, I don't know, the Excalibur book, it's not for me, but I do feel that what's going on here is definitely going to be adding into the story that's going on here in the whole Dawn of X. And that's all I have for Excalibur issue number 5. If you've read Excalibur issue number 5, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below. I'd definitely like to hear your take on that. But this one, it actually had some pretty cool action and things like that in it. So, again, it's not the worst, but is it important? I think not. Now, the next one I want to talk about here is New Mutants, issue number 5. Now, this one right here being written by Jonathan Hickman, and the art is being done by Rod Reese. VC's Travis Lanham is the letterer, Tom Muller on design. Rod Reese is also the cover artist as well. I'll go ahead and show you, again, that lovely 2-page spread. You guys know how much I love those 2-page title pages here. And basically what we're opening up on here is we're back with the actual the actual mutants that were in space that we haven't seen in a couple of issues, and that's where we open up at, where we get open up with a bunch of wordy dialogue, obviously being told by Sunspot here. I again, this is another one where I don't really like the characters in here. I don't like the way they talk. I don't like the way they deal with each other. They sound like a bunch of little kids. And I've even heard a couple people saying, "Well, it's New Mutants." Because I said a thing, and I hate to say like millennials, like they're talking like that, but that's kind of how it's kind of how it's going here. And they just, I don't know. I don't like the way these characters interact with each other. And we get more of that here as we get just a lot of this dialogue from Sunspot. But the one thing I do like about Sunspot is I think maybe he's got the same taste as me. You know what? Because, he just has this thing for Deathbird here. And I've got to tell you, they're just there from the cover too. I've got to agree with you there, Sunspot. Hey, man. I kind of get all googly and turn into a blubbering mess when I see her in here too. Now, the mutants that we're dealing with in here are Karma, Wolfsbane, Mondo, Cypher, Mirage, Sunspot, Chamber, Magic, Smasher, Cannonball, Gladiator, Mentor, Oracle, and Deathbird. Those are the characters that we're dealing with here. I'll go ahead and show you that. Another one of those white pages. Hey, we get plenty of those throughout all these books. So what we see here, in case you guys don't remember, in the last issue, where they had all been taken, into court and been found guilty in the Shi'ar Empire, but then they got saved by God, who is it? By Smasher and Cannonball. They basically got out, and they kind of got a pardon, but they had to go on this mission, and their mission was to get Deathbird and bring her back to the Shi'ar Empire to and Deathbird was basically going to be training. I can't remember the character's name in there that she's going to be training there, but basically it was going to be Gladiator's daughter. Was it daughter? That she was going to be there training to become basically the queen of the Shi'ar Empire. And what we see here is as they're coming back, they're having this conversation in Gladiator's quarters. There, he's the head of the Shi'ar Empire. They're having this conversation talking about getting all these mutants and getting Deathbird back there to just back there to the Shi'ar Empire. And what we see is there's he sends her out to make sure that they make it there safely. And it doesn't look like she wants them to make it there safely, that being Oracle. So she gets a hold of this crew of people, which are the Shi'ar Death Commandos, and nice little 2-page spread there, and has a nice little conversation with them. And look, more of those white pages that I love so much. More of those white pages. Look, another one. Woo! I love those white pages. And so basically what we got here is the mutants on this ship, bringing Deathbird back to the Shi'ar Empire, and they are met with some forces who want to make sure that they don't make it there, because it could be a problem with Deathbird getting there, because apparently I don't know, I think that has something to do with the heir to the throne there on the Shi'ar Empire, and a lot of people don't want to see that happen. But I gotta tell you, as much as I don't like some of the character interactions and some of the way the characters deal with each other in this book, I've got to tell you, we get here towards the end of the book, and I'll show you some more of that art there. This really doesn't show much. Some really, really great dialogue here that we've got coming in from Magic, and I've got to tell you, she comes in here and absolutely kicks some ass, and it is great, and I really do enjoy it. Now there is kind of there's a little surprise ending here towards the end of the book. I don't want to give that away. Again, this is another one just like Excalibur. It's hard to say. The art in here is good. I like Rod Reese's work. I told you guys last time about his characters and how the noses he draws a little, when he colors them, it's a little funny. They're always a little red. Like, do they all have sinus problems? I don't know, but I can tell you I do like Rod Reese's art. And it's great in this book, and the action in this book is well worth it. But again, the character dialogue and some of the things just going on with that, the character interactions, I absolutely just don't like. It's not for me. But other than that, I thought this issue was actually pretty good. I think the story that's going on here is something that's important going on in the Dawn of X series. It hasn't really tied into anything, though. That's the only problem I have here, but I have a feeling what's going on is going to play a larger role in the universe that is unfolding before our very eyes. And let me know down in the comments below if you have read, or if you're reading New Mutants, and if you've read New Mutants issue number 5, and what were your thoughts on it. Now the next one we'll go ahead and talk about here is my favorite one, and that is X-Force issue number 5. Guys, you guys know that I love this one. X-Force is absolutely like my favorite book, man. This one's a great one. This one's being called Necessary Force. Written by Benjamin Percy. Joshua Cassar is the artist. Dean White and Rochelle Rosenberg are on colors. I love Rochelle Rosenberg's work. VC's Joe Caramagna is the letterer. Tom Muller on design. Dustin Weaver and Edgar Delgado are the cover artists on this book. I'll show you that lovely 2-page spread right there, and I'll go ahead and show you that cover as well. This cover's pretty nice as well. Really kind of I don't know. I think it's representative of the art going on in this book. And in case you guys didn't know, in the last series or in the last book, we've seen that there was an attack at one of the bases there that the mutants have set up. I believe it was one of their financial headquarters, and there was some of the humans, or it wasn't even the humans necessarily. It was these new style of Reavers that had basically went and infiltrated to get some who knows what they were after exactly, because there's all kinds of things that they had at this facility. And so anyway, we seen that Wolverine and Kid Omega and Domino had went to stop them, and Domino had gotten kind of upgraded with some technology from from Forge. And here's the mutants we're going to be dealing with here in this book. We got Beast, we've got Forge, we've got Sage, Gateway, Domino, Wolverine, and Marvel Girl. And again, I like the art in this book. I'll go ahead and show you some more of that. And what we've seen, remember, in the last issue was Wolverine and Kid Omega had gone through that Krakoan gateway to get into that facility to stop those people from taking what they were after. And we had seen that Wolverine got cut in half. Kid Omega ended up losing part of his body as well. We got another one of these great white pages here that you guys know I love so much. And I'm telling you guys, like, I just don't like having these in here. I mean, they're still only charging $3.99 for the books. But, I think these are really extra pages because we're still getting all the art and all that stuff. I know somebody else, I think it was Chillmonger, was here on the channel. If you guys haven't ever checked out Chillmonger, go check out his channel. Really great dude. Love his comic book reviews. One of my favorite channels that I like watching here. But they're talking about Black Tom Cassidy here and kind of his role there on Krakoa, and just kind of the things he can do and some of the things that have been going on with him because he's kind of growing into this role. You'll know what I mean when you read when you read these pages, but he's kind of growing into that, and just still kind of learning some of the things and his role there exactly. So what we see is Domino actually goes to this facility because she was supposed to be going there with them to help Kid Omega, who is now dead at this point, and Wolverine. But then Forge ends up coming along with her, but they can't quite get there because the humans had destroyed the gateway. So that's when they have to get a hold of Gateway. And he ends up taking them there to this facility, and we get a lot of great action here. We get more Beast in this book finally. It seems like we haven't been getting a whole lot of Beast, but Beast is there kind of calling the shots from the sidelines back in Krakoa as they are there, and Domino really kind of starts tearing into some of these to some of these people. And I was about to say humans, but they're these hybrids, these Reavers, and they're there taking care of them. And Beast is sitting there like telling her, calm down, like, we need somebody to talk. We need somebody to talk to. We need somebody to interrogate. Because remember what happened when Xavier got assassinated? Like, yeah, like, we didn't have nobody to ask. We didn't have no information. So we need somebody. So he's sitting there yelling at her on the comms to make sure that she doesn't kill everybody. And so they end up, they do end up getting somebody to bring back to Krakoa to end up questioning. And there's just some really great things that are going on in this book. And oh, look at this. At the very end we get some more of these white pages. You guys know how much I love the white pages in these books, but I've got to tell you, this book, what I like about this book, and I've said it before, this book, it's like a body horror tale. There are great things going on here in this book. In that realm, we see that Wolverine basically got cut in half. There's some very funny things that go in here. Like, this one's not even a body horror. This one's like a body comedy, really. Because just what happens there with Wolverine and just all of that kinds of stuff. And I mean, it's not funny stuff. I mean, it's silly, like, but I don't know. It's really good. I find it great and entertaining. I'll tell you, the one thing I absolutely do not like about this particular issue, the one thing I don't like, and we can discuss this down in the comments section, is it was a page turner. I felt like I started this book and it ended like that, man. That was a bad snap. Anyway, I felt like this book went way too fast. I love this book. This is my favorite book out of this Dawn of X series. I'm telling you guys, X-Force issue number 5 is absolutely great, man. I can't wait to read issue number 6. But let me know down in the comments below if you've read issue number 5 and what are your thoughts. And let me know, like, out of all these titles, which ones are your favorite? Because I'm telling you, man, X-Force is absolutely on point. Every single issue. I remember when I read issue number 1, I was like, oh yes, I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, okay, so the last one we're going to talk about is Fallen Angels, issue number 5. And look at that cover. You know what? I gotta say, I like this cover here. The only thing I don't like about it is Psylocke right here. She's just, I don't know, just the way she's drawn there, she don't look as curvy as she does in the book. And I'm not saying, that just kind of make her look a little bit more like Psylocke in the book, and I'll get into that here in just a minute. This book is being written by Brian Hill. Simon Kurdansky is the artist. Frank D'Armata is the color artist. VC's Joe Sabino is the letterer. Tom Muller on design. Ashley Witter is the cover artist. And there are some various cover artists as well. And once again, look at that. We got, these two-page spreads. So what we open up with here is we got the mutants we're dealing with here is we got X-23, Bling, Husk, Cable, Psylocke, Mr. Sinister, and Magneto are the mutants we're gonna be dealing with in this book, and we can see right there. You could see that page right there, where we see X-23 is having a conversation with some of her friends, and it looks like she's actually assembling a team to get together to go out and help Psylocke. And then that's when we see that Psylocke, or Quanon in this case, is there having a conversation with Mr. Sinister about Apoth, and just about what, like, if he can help her find Apoth, because we know that, like, Mr. Sinister is dealing with a lot more of, like, the technology side of things, and the DNA and all of those different kinds of things that he's dealing with there, mostly with the mutant DNA. And she's sitting there talking to him, asking for his help to track down Apoth. And that's the one thing I like about this story, is it's kind of cyberpunk, you know what I mean? And that's where we get this scene right here, which was really great, where he's kind of helping her out, helping track down Apoth and find out exactly who this Apoth is. And we learn a little bit more about Apoth and, maybe the duality of sides here of Apoth. Again, very great stuff. And, look right here what we get. We get more of these. I get another 2-page spread of white pages, but I gotta tell you, this one is from the Journals of the Teacher, and I like what was being written right here in this book. And that's one thing I like about this book, is it's somewhat psychological. It's playing on here they're talking about really who we become is who we are as children. Like, what affected us as children is who we become as adults, and those things, those scars, those bad things that happen to us carry on with us throughout our whole lives. And I think some of those philosophical things that they're talking about in this book is what I actually really enjoy about this series. So then we see that the kids are all there together. They're kind of training together. We see that X-23, Laura has kind of brought them together, and they're doing a little bit of training together, kind of getting to know each other, and just fighting together before they're getting ready to go out in battle. And these others that she had pulled in for their little group had they're kind of like, hey, if you trust Quanon, if you trust Psylocke, I trust her as well. So they built their team, and then at the very end we see that Psylocke ends up going to Eric Magneto to basically asking for his permission to leave the island and go out there and do what they need to do. And they have a very great discussion. Now, I will tell you guys, I like the story going on in Fallen Angels. It's one of my more favorite books. But I gotta say, man, like, I don't hate Simon Kurdansky's work, but in this book, they need to get a new artist. His art is not doing it for me. The first couple of issues, I was like, okay, I was willing to let it go, but at this point, like, they just need to get a new artist on here. Frank D'Armata can only do so much to make up for the art that he's doing in this book. It's just so inconsistent. It's really not good for this particular book. I don't like it. They need to do something about this. But let me know what you guys think about Fallen Angels issue number 5 down in the comments below. Am I wrong here about all these white pages? I'm just kidding. You guys know I'm not wrong. But anyway, am I wrong here about not Frank D'Armata's? His colors are just fine. But am I wrong about Simon Kurdansky's art in this book? I feel like I'm the only one that's saying about something about this. I've heard a couple other people say little things here and there, but the art for me, it's time for it to go. We've got to get a new artist on this. But again, this series itself, it may not be lasting too much longer either. But I don't know, that's just some of the things I predicted in one of my videos as well. But that's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Second Street Marvel. If you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell and all of that good stuff that YouTube tells me to tell you to do. And we all need reminders from time to time, but you know what you're doing. And while you're at it, make sure you give this video a thumbs down or a thumbs up. Either one, it's all good. I don't take it personal. But while you're at it, make sure you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Have a great rest of your week. Enjoy reading these books, because these ones were really great this week. And we'll see you all in the next video. Later.